All right, we're live. Give a few minutes for people to join in the chat. Let's discuss this news, guys. This is pretty crazy. We're going to discuss Fanatics acquiring Topps here. This is kind of like groundbreaking news. Kind of predicted a little bit, but to actually see it happen and happen this quick, it's pretty crazy. So we'll give a few minutes. Let people join the chat. We'll have a discussion about this. I'll give you guys my thoughts. I'll tell you guys what I think this means for the hobby, and let's just throw out some ideas in there and see where the discussion goes. OG card scammer. Can you believe it? You guys believe this? This is incredible. This is incredible. Let's discuss this and what this means for the hobby here. We got OG card scammer in the chat here. We got Adam and a few other people here. So I know people are going to start going live pretty soon here. So I wanted to get in first so we could talk about this for a little bit, and then I can go to the other people's live chats when they start getting on. I think Ken Golden is going to go live pretty soon, so I'll probably want to be a part of that. Thank you, Ethan. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Oh, Happy New Year's, OG card scammer. Happy New Year's, man. Let's talk about this, guys. Let's get right into this. What do you guys think about this news? This is pretty crazy. I knew they were going to acquire one of these companies. I mean, like, I didn't know, but like I had a feeling, because it didn't make sense for Fanatics to try to build out the infrastructure to build out a whole card business on their own. So it would make sense that they would try to buy one of the 3 trading card companies out there, or 4 trading card companies out there. And just so you guys know, like, if you guys don't know, the 4 I'm talking about is going to be Leaf, Upper Deck, Topps, and Panini, right? And there was a lot of talk about them buying one of those 4 companies, not only for the infrastructure that those companies have of being able to actually manufacture cards, something that Fanatics has never done before, but also for the brands that these companies own. So this is pretty huge for them to acquire Topps. You know, they're going to bring back Topps Chrome. That's probably going to be the biggest brand that they bring back. The refractor. We're going to get refractors again. You know, no more of this silver prism crap. So that I'm pretty excited to see that. I was kind of hoping that they would buy Upper Deck, to be honest, because I wanted to see all the Upper Deck brands that came back. But, you know, who knows? Maybe they're not even done yet, guys. Maybe this is just step 1, you know? So who knows? Maybe they might acquire one of the smaller companies, like I think Upper Deck. Upper Deck would probably be next. It would make sense, or even Panini. But I think that if got Topps, they don't really need Panini anymore, to be honest, because it was going to be, you know, the value in those 2 companies is really in the brands that they bring. I think maybe that they have, but I don't really know too much about that. But let me get your thoughts, guys, and then we'll continue this discussion here. Let me go through the top here, see if I can get everybody's comments and their questions in. Okay, we got Search in here. We got Money Mike. Money Mike is always pushing Bitcoin. Okay, John, Viking, Topps Chrome. Topps Chrome is coming back, guys. Okay, I mean, we've had Topps Chrome in other sets, but Topps Chrome in basketball, that's what's really exciting. Topps Chrome in football, that's exciting. Topps Chrome for baseball is going to continue. And remember, guys, they get Topps Chrome, they get Bowman, they get all those brands. Global Sports Card Investors in the house. Vincent's in the house. Everybody's off their Topps cards. Price just went up. Price just went up on all Topps Chrome cards, guys. Buzz Righteousness. Let's see here. Did I get everybody? We got everybody joining the chat round. This is super exciting news, guys, and I'm going to tell you guys why I'm really excited about this, and see if you guys agree with me here. Global Sports Card Investors. This is absolutely huge for us internationals for supply of product. Yes. I agree. Bullish for Chrome price. Suitcase Murphy. Yes. Yes, I think so. Topps Chrome was the first, if I can remember correctly, I think the first like shiny cards that really came out. Topps. So that brand has been around since like 94, 96. Topps Finest is really the first shiny card. I think that's been around since like 94, 93, something like that. So to have those brands being able to come back for basketball is pretty huge, guys. Okay, Spitfire Games. Panini is done. Well, Panini still has some licenses, right? What licenses does Panini have? I don't even know. What licenses does Panini have? Soccer? Soccer, maybe? I don't know. They've got something. They'll be making something, or maybe they'll go back to making stickers. Who knows? Um, but maybe Panini's next. But like when they buy Tops, I don't really see what value Panini has unless you value those brands that they've created. But the brands that they created have only been around for like 8 years. They're not legacy brands like Tops has. So, if you really want to acquire the Flawless, the National Treasures, the Prism brands, I don't know if those are worthwhile or not. They have Hoops, right? They have Hoops, and they have Don Russ, right? Those are kind of like older brands, but I don't know who'd want those. All right, let me see if I can get through these comments and questions. Vikings, guys, make sure you watch for 20% off Fanatics gift cards go on sale. Too soon, Viking. Too soon. OG, you're not a fan of Panini. Okay. Well, if this is really like the nail in the coffin for Panini in terms of sports cards market, they might as well just overprint like hell, flood the market and just say screw you guys, screw Top, screw Fanatics. I'm not playing with you guys anymore if you don't pick me. So who knows what they're going to do. This could be crazy. Spitfire Games, will there be sticker autos? Will there be redemptions? I'm sure there will, but this is a good question, guys. If you have redemption for Panini, you better cash those in now or get rid of them, because who knows if you'll ever get those back. Okay, Ethan, do you think they will change anything, or Topps will continue as they are under new ownership? I would say that they're going to change. We should expect some change here, because like they'll continue to operate as Topps company, as like a subsidiary of most likely, but Fanatics is going to impose their own culture on Topps. They're probably going to put their own people in the top places to manage, right? So who knows? I think all the changes will be internally in that. I don't think we'll see anything differently from the product side of it. It'll probably be better, if anything, with the resources that Fanatics puts behind this. If they're super serious, I mean, they just bought the company for $500 million. They're not gonna half-ass this, I don't think, right? So they're gonna probably put more talent in there for the designs of the products. They're gonna put more marketing behind it for sure. There'll probably be a different distribution model, so we'll be able to get product in our hands easier. But as far as like, I think any changes that happen are going to be very beneficial to us as consumers. Global sport investor. Yes. So I do agree with this. It will take 6 to 12 months before we see anything. And I think that's why Panini's not wasting any time. I mean, not Panini, I'm sorry. Why Fanatics is not wasting any time, even though their licenses don't really come up until like 2 or 3 years from now. They're probably just saying, let's start this process now, and then maybe by the end of the year we'll start to see like Fanatics branded products. I also wonder if, since Fanatics buys Topps and Topps currently has the license to baseball, if they just take over the license right away, right? Like they have a seamless transition. I think that's probably what's going to happen. JNY Sports. It was a good move. Goodbye, Select, Prism, and Optic for now. I'm not going to miss any of those brands, to be honest. Like, I mean, Prism is pretty cool. but I'm not really a big fan of those other two brands. So I'm excited to see Topps Chrome come back to basketball. So that will be good. But I mean, technically, they're not gonna get the basketball license until like 2 years from things. So we'll still see those products for now, anyways, unless they pull a crazy move and acquire those brands from Money Mike. You're only focused on vintage and high end cards. Yeah, I would say. Okay, so here's my argument for you, Money Mike. Even if you don't collect modern cards, right, which is all the cards that Fanatics and Topps will be putting out, you must see the benefit to the hobby, right? Fanatics is going to pump a lot of money into marketing and building the hobby and growing the community, which is going to bring a lot of new faces, a lot of new collectors, and not a lot of new like money into the hobby, and that's going to raise the demand of the products. Okay, and I've been talking about this in my last couple videos when I covered like Josh Looper's paper, how we talk about like supply and demand dynamics, right? And I think that this is going to cause a huge demand boom, right? Which in turn is going to squeeze the current supply that we have, and we might see, we might see in the prices. Probably not as significant as we saw during the pandemic, but maybe, who knows? Maybe it's more, depending on what type of marketing they really put in with this. So this is exciting to me, guys, because this is what I think is going to happen. Okay, this is my conspiracy theory. This is purely just my opinion, me speculating on this. Take it for what it's worth, right? But I think that when Fanatics really goes 100% executing their plan to build out the trading card market, they're going to bring in so many people, and the demand is going to be crazy that we're going to see another boom. I thought that this would probably happen within a 2 to 3 year period when they first start taking over. But I mean, if they're making moves to the manufacturer that has the infrastructure right now, who's to say after the deal's done that they can't start producing cards right away? Who's to say that they don't start pumping in marketing like tomorrow, right? So this could come a lot sooner than we thought would happen. It would happen. So it's very exciting. I will be preparing for this in my own way. I'm not going to tell you guys like what I'm buying or how I'm preparing, because I don't want to make picks like that. But I am very, very bullish on this news. Okay, big tilt, Bowman Chrome. Yes, we're going to get Bowman Chrome. So that's going to be good. Okay, Deers. Panini has UFC. Okay, that's right. Panini has UFC, college sports, and the European Premier League, huh? Okay, yeah. So Panini still has brands that they can do something with, but the question would be, can those brands support the Panini company in terms of their trading here in America, right? Can those three brands or whatever else? Oh, they've got WWE too, right? So they got wrestling. Can those brands support the business is right now, or will they have to downsize, which could affect the quality of their product? So that's going to be very interesting to see, I think. Another consider too is like if Panini says, you know what, screw it, we can't compete with you guys, screw it, and maybe they just sell their licenses to those companies to like sub-license it, right? Is that the right word? But give those licenses to Fanatics as like for maybe they just say screw it and they just throw in the towel. Who knows? All right, let me try to get through some of these comments here. Caesar, I believe the rumors were like they would have the license for 3 more years. So that would take them out to 2024. OG card scammer, NASCAR, right? Like, I mean, I guess that like NASCAR could become a thing. It's pretty huge. Who knows? Dragon 2 is here. Okay, we got a pretty healthy number here in the chat, 51 people. So this is good, guys. Tell me your thoughts. You guys tell me your thoughts. Tell me what you think. I will highlight your comment and we can discuss. Dear, sticker autos never going away. Probably not, right? Because I think it's convenient for the companies to do that. So probably sticker autos are going to be with us for a very long time. But that doesn't mean we have to. Viking, you want Fanatics to release Topps historic print run numbers if they exist. That'd be interesting. Yeah, like kind of go back. Is that what you're talking about? Go back and release like all the print numbers of everything. That would be interesting to see. JNY, if you have Panini points, yeah, you better start spending those now. If you guys have anything Panini, you need to cash. It's the time to do it. Chuck, you want them to reprint 2012 basketball? Reprint? Oh, that's gonna piss off a lot of people. Let's see. Spitfire Games. So yes, they did say that, I mean, like this is what their CEO said, but largely a lot of people have kind of like dismissed what that CEO said on that new interview where he said that they wanted to go into grading. Like I just don't see how a card company can go into grading, because like if Topps, right, starts grading their cards, if they grade anything less than a 10, then it just makes their brand look bad because it looks like they have poor quality control, right? And if they, like you can't grade your own cards after you make them. It just wouldn't make sense. Money Mike, what's your favorite burger spot? What are you talking about, man? I can't be thinking about burgers right now. But I do have a couple favorite spots. I'll share with you later. David Ventura, what sports will they have a license for? Are you talking about Fanatics? Fanatics, they will have, I mean, currently they have licenses for baseball, basketball, football, which don't take like 2024, I believe. Maybe somebody can do some research and find the exact date. But if they acquire Topps, Topps has the license for baseball right now. So maybe they can take that right away. Topps has, what else does Topps have? I'm trying to think. Oh, Topps has Star Wars. Right? They got the license for Star Wars. Do they have any other sports? They had wrestling, but then Panini took that over. It's getting confusing, guys. Everything's getting shifted around a little bit here. I might have to get like some kind of a chart and figure this out. Yes, Vincent, please. Thank you for reminding everybody. Please like the video. Please give me a thumbs up. That helps a lot. So appreciate that, Vincent. Jordan. Yeah, I mean, Topps. I mean, no, sorry guys. I just get all these companies confused now. What am I looking at? Panini, they still have a license for like 3 years, guys. So, those brands are not going anywhere unless the company goes out of business or they sell. So I think that we will see those brands continue for a few more years. And, they've got a lot of product like in the pipeline that's supposed to be released. It's not like they're not going to release any of those things. Jay Favors, do you think this Panini Fantastic situation will positively affect 80s or 90s junk wax? I would say that if there's a large demand of people that come into the hobby, like let's just say the hobby grows by like 2, 3, 4x what it is today in terms of people entering in the hobby, ready to spend money. I think that they're going to start to try to collect the things from that they collected when they're young. So just like what happened in 2020, where a lot of people from the 90s, from the 80s and 90s who were kids grew up, then they re-entered the hobby and they started buying all those 80s and 90s cards. I think the same thing will happen again when we get a new crop of people jumping in. So yes, there will be demand for those type of cards. Will we see those cards go up, 10x like they did before? Probably not. I'm going to say probably not, just because I'm going to speculate that people that are coming into the hobby, they'll have a little bit more access to education in YouTube, and all the content creators out there like myself. We have talked about this for like a year now, where we're talking about like supply demand issues, what are like low end junk cards versus like really rare cards, how to pay attention to pop counts. So I think that people will try to educate themselves a little bit better than the first boom that we had. So they'll be a little bit smarter where they put their money. But I do think that there will be a demand uptick from that. And anybody that came in or collected in the 80s or 90s, they're going to want to buy those cards at the collect kits. So I do think that there will be a little bump in there. Okay, Ken Golden is live. All right, so maybe I'll cut this down a little bit. We'll go for like 10 more minutes, and then I'll go jump into the Ken Golden. But I want to make sure that I get all you guys' comments and questions and everything. Caesar, okay, how does this hurt Panini in your opinion? They are done, right? I think in terms of, well, I mean, they're not done because they still have the license for 3 years. So remember, they can still print cards. I think that this may change their strategy, and I'm going to speculate and give you guys some wild speculative thoughts here. Okay, number one is that they could just say, "F it, F those guys. Let's just print out as many cards as we want. Let's just print, because they're going to make money." Okay, if they flood the market with product, they're going to make money on those products. They will inflate the price and devalue all their products for sure, but they can do it. They can do like a scorched earth technique where they just burn all their bridges and just collect as many as they can. So whether they do that or not, that's who knows. Okay, but that could be one thing I could see them doing. Two, I could see them saying, you know what, why? Let's just throw in a towel. If we try to sell our brands to Fanatics right now, the rumor is that the Topps sold themselves for $500 million. So if you're Panini and you're trying to use comparables, you say, well, we're probably better. We're probably better than Topps right now, right? We have more market share. We have established brands in these sports. We have probably a bigger infrastructure. Who knows? I'm guessing. Maybe they try to cash in on that, right? Because it's not going to be higher than what it is right now. If they wait 3 years when their license runs up, they're going to have nothing to sell to Fanatics. So while they still have 3 years left on their licenses, maybe they just cash out now and let Fanatics go get into the market 3 years earlier. Who knows? So I think that could be an option for them going forward. I think the third option would be just to play out their current licenses and to really focus on the other extended licenses they have, being what are the other ones? UFC, soccer, and wrestling, and whatever else they have. So that could be something they could focus on. Okay, Money Mike, you want to start our own golden auction? Okay, we'll plan it out. You and me, we'll start it. Spitfire, Project 50 for all sports. Yes, that would be very interesting. Caesar, tough to get in on a dying product. Yes, I see your point. Is if the brands are dying out, do you still want to collect them? That depends, like it depends on how much you care about the brand. Because remember back in 2012, right, when Topps lost the license to basketball, like, did you stop buying Topps cards? It's just like, I mean, the brands really affect the value of the card. I don't know that, to be honest, because the cards are supposed to be the cards of the players, right? And all we care about is, the quality of the card, the subject matter of the card. Do we really care about the brand of the card? So I would say, like, if they can Prism, Flawless, whatever else, Hoops, Don Russ, Optic, if they continue to make those, people will still buy because they're established. They've been doing it since the last 5-10 years. The newer brands that they've come out with, like Influx or Flux or whatever it's called, probably not, because people just won't want to get into that. But the other ones, I think that they still have value up until the end. Okay. Sumiji, wouldn't it be bad if Panini sold their licenses? Fanatics would have total monopoly. Is that even legal? Antitrust issues? I don't think the trading card market is regulated in that way at all, to be honest. And I don't think anybody's really going to pay attention unless it becomes like crazy uh, price manipulations and things like that. So I think that like if Panini is going to be the one to stop Fanatics from taking over, I don't think they're going to want to fight that fight. I don't think they care about that at all. They're probably scrambling to try to figure out how to keep the value of their company. Okay, and let me give you guys this perspective. So before Topps lost the license to baseball, they were going to go public through a acquisition, and they were going to. I think they were valued at like $1 billion. All right, somebody fact check that for me, but I think they were valued at like $1 billion. And then when they lost the license, they pulled out of the IPO of the SPAC acquisition, and then reportedly they just sold themselves for $500 million, so half the valuation that they had before. So that kind of shows you guys the power of these licenses while you have them. So Panini has 3 years left on their license. As that license keeps getting smaller and smaller, so does the value of the company. It will be affected unless they acquire additional licenses that will offset. But who knows what else is there for them to acquire, right? So if like you're on the board of Panini and you're thinking, oh crap, how do we save the company or whatever, like you might have to just kind of get the max money that you can for those licenses any way you can and rebuild somewhere else. That's just what I'm thinking. Why would we need this many points now? I would say because I'm going to use the analogy of the redemptions. Okay. Right now, if you have redemptions, you want to cash as soon as you can or get rid of them or whatever, because you don't know if Panini will honor those redemptions or not. If, like, let's just say those redemptions are good for like 2 years. What happens if Panini decides to just stop making cards, sell their company to Fanatics? You don't know if Fanatics will honor those redemptions. You don't know if they're still going to be in business or not. So I would say the same thing with points, with the Panini points. If Panini was to be taken over by Fanatics or Topps, we don't know how that structure is going to work. We don't know if those reward points are going to be good anymore. So I wouldn't be waiting around holding those things. I would cash out as soon as I can. But that's just me. I'm just maybe that's thinking negatively about the situation, but it'd be hard to see how they would honor those. Okay, Nicholas, Topps Chrome football and basketball back in 2027. It could be sooner than that. It could be sooner than that for sure. Dr. Word, yeah, Fanatics grading as well would have too much concentrated power. I agree. I just don't think a manufacturer can grade their own cards. It was too easy to manipulate that. Like it would be like if you get a card graded from them. I mean, I think the only way that works is if they only grade 10s basically, and they allow you to buy a 10 right away. I think work. I think that if they contract with like PSA, for example, and they just send their best cards to PSA that are guaranteed to be PSA 10s, and they would sell those PSA 10s directly to the consumer, I think that would work. But anything less than a 10 would just be like, would just look poorly on their companies of their quality control. Hey, Surfer, what's up, brother? Yes, Vincent, you're right. It's a conflict of interest. Topps. Okay, so Jordan, Topps has Formula One also, man. So that's another license. So remember, when Fanatics buys, they get everything Topps owns, all the licenses, all the legacy brands, all their infrastructure, all their accounts, everything. I don't think they're done yet, guys. I don't think Fanatics is done yet. I think the next one's going to be Upper Deck. That's going to be my prediction because Upper Deck has hockey. If they get hockey, they got They got all of them. They got all the major sports. So if they get Upper Deck, they get hockey. They get the rest of the legacy brands that we all grew up with, including the PMGs, Flare Metal, PMGs, Skybox, SP, Exquisite. They get all those legacy brands, and they get the athletes that are under exclusive contracts, lifetime deals with Upper Deck. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Tiger Woods, guys like that. So I don't think Fanatics is done yet. Let me know what you guys think about that. How do you say it? Vendor Rila Warlock. I was eyeing that this Fanatics is going to buy everyone but Leaf and Upper Deck. I don't see any value that Leaf has, to be honest. I don't know, unless they have any exclusive athletes that they've signed. Leaf doesn't really have a strong brand, in my opinion. But Upper Deck does. Upper Deck has a lot of IP value that I think would be worth whatever they would cost. Oh, that's right. Topps also has soccer, right? Topps has some of the soccer leagues. So that's very interesting. Okay, Jordan. Some people are overreacting a bit here. Josh Luber wants to keep the brands around that the hobby loves. Prism, Select, Optic are at the forefront of that. Yes, I could see that. Which is why I don't think that Fanatics is necessarily done. I think that it's very possible that even if Panini doesn't get bought up by Fanatics, right? If Panini just continues to do their own thing, it's very possible that Fanatics could license those brands from them, right? Now, would they do that? I don't know, because Topps has Topps Chrome. Okay, so remember, like, the brands that Fanatics have, the brands that Panini's has are essentially like copies. They're copies of what Topps had before, what Topps and Upper Deck had before, right? Prism, that's Topps Chrome, guys. That's a blatant copy with just a different name. Flawless and National Treasures, those are that's Exquisite. That's a copy of Exquisite, essentially. So, it's just like different names. I mean, the only real original thing that they have is maybe Select, I think. Select and Optic, but those look very similar to all the other products that they make. So who knows? I don't know. I feel like I'm just rambling right now, but they could license those brands themselves, or they could just continue off of the old brands that we're all nostalgic for. Okay, let me try to get through some of these comments here. Modern Crime. Panini has WWE. Panini has WWE, so that's a good sign for sure. That's a good sign for wrestling cards. I think they're going to pump a lot of money into their wrestling product and promote that. So who knows? Maybe people will start collecting wrestling now. Okay, Warlock. Panini is going to pump cards out like we've never seen before. I would expect something along those lines. If they can't work out a deal for themselves, I don't see why they wouldn't try to maximize their product profit as much as they can. Okay, Sports and Heroes. Fanatics will print more and more products under different brands, will come out each week as they need to get their return on investment without acquiring Topps. With acquiring Topps, you think so? You're basically saying Fanatics will print more and more product, different brands will come out each week as they need to, huh? Maybe, but I think the amount of brands that they have are going to be limited. Because I talked about this in the paper, and Josh Luber even mentioned this in the paper himself in terms of how to manage the supply and demand dynamics. He calls this the the supply, the paradox of supply, or something like that. I forget what he says, but basically he says that you cannot print out too many brands of product. You can only really one brand a product a week. That's like 52 brands a year. That's the max. And even that is too much. So to go to like more than that, to release more than one brand product a week would just be excessive, right? So I think that he's wise to that, and him being the chief visionary officer for Fanatics, I think that he's going to make sure that that's probably not going to happen. But who knows? Who knows how they'll print? I mean, they could print more if they want to, but they're going to have to market the hobby in a way where the demand has to support the supply of products. So they're going to have to bring in a lot of new people, which is what I'm really interested to hear what their marketing strategy is. Okay, I don't really care about their product strategy because I know the product's going to be out there and people are going to buy it. I don't care about their distribution strategy that much because I know it's going to get out there. People are going to buy it for whatever, however they're going to get it. That product is going to get into our hands. I want to know what they're going to do about their marketing strategy to try to bring more people to the hobby, so that the prices don't crash, okay, from overproduction. That's what I'm really interested in. Okay, let's see here. Warlock, you got a lot of interesting comments tonight, Warlock. Okay, you don't see it going that way for sports and heroes. When you flood the market with too many brands all the time, that leads to confusion and collecting fatigue. Yes, I agree. I basically just said something similar to that. So yes, I agree with that. Let's see. Anyone can negotiate the license if you got the money for it. Yes, that's correct, guys. Licenses are what has the real value here. So if those licenses still exist, they're going to have to try to maximize those somehow. And that option might be selling those licenses off, or sub licensing them to the different companies. Danker, it's like art. If people are willing to, they will print. Yes, so I would agree with that, but they have to manage the supply to make sure that the demand can meet that supply. They can't just overprint. If they overprint, they're going to devalue their product and nobody's going to want to buy it. Matt, in my opinion, should you ever take an encased Panini one-of-one card sticker sealed and send a grade it, or leave it sticker sealed? For me, any card that is uncirculated, I keep it in the case. And if you guys don't know what uncirculated means, that's basically a card that comes in like a mag touch case that has been sealed with the logo of the company. Uncirculated, meaning that the card has never been around and changed hands and been touched by the public. Okay, it was sealed by the company and it was put out that way. So I think that uncirculated cards do carry a premium to them. So I would never crack one of those open and send it out, especially if it's a one card. If it's a one-on-one card, you don't need to get it graded. Who cares what the grade is? There's only one of them, right? Only if you really want to take a chance and try 10 on it, which would increase it by adding a premium. But with those chances are pretty difficult. So I probably wouldn't do that. Hopefully that answers your question, sir. OG Card Scammer is giving us a play-by-play of the Monday Night Football game. So guys joining me if you're not watching the game right now. Diverse collectibles. Yes, I love Upper Deck. I love the Upper Deck brands that they have. And remember, Upper Deck owns Flair and Skybox. So they have those brands also. Okay. Card Scammer just gave us an update, guys. Steelers won. That's awesome. Good for Big Ben. Modern crime and cards, you're just gonna collect Leaf Century, huh? Well, I mean, people like that. People like that set, so there's nothing wrong with. Okay, sports in here. If the economy turns sour, hundreds of thousands of slabs that are ultra modern base cards with PSA 8 and other will be so much less. Mm, I mean, I see what you're saying. I think that I think that I don't know if like the economy well, I mean, I shouldn't say that. I'm just speculating. I just think that collectors come from different worlds, right? So like if the economy does go bad and people don't have the discretionary income to collect cards, yes, the hobby's going to be affected as a whole. But I think that there's still going to be a place for all these underground cards like 8 and below. But what really is going to impact the value of those cards is the demand for cards. And that is only going to be affected if new people come into the hobby. The way we are right now with the current population of our hobby, of our community, can't sustain the influx of graded cards that are coming out every week from PSA. I really believe that. I think the junk slab era is, and as we sit right now, we're just going to be passing these cards around like hot potatoes, and they're not really going to hold much value. But if there's an influx of people, like if the hobby community grows 2x, 3x, or more, then those values of those cards will rise because those will be entry level cards for everybody to start collecting. Those will be the nostalgic cards that everybody wants. Well, actually, you said 2020 and beyond. Those aren't going to be nostalgic, but those will be the entry level cards for a lot of people to collect. So I think that that's going to really determine the value of those cards on how much the hobby can grow in the next couple of years. Let me just answer this question here. Come on, Jordan. You okay? Not a guarantee. You don't have to honor anything. Okay, these companies they can when they take over licenses. I mean, they could piss a lot of people off, but they don't have to honor anything. And we know from people who have talked about this a lot before that the current redemptions are not necessarily they're not contracts that are they have said that some of the current redemptions do not have to be honored. So I don't necessarily think it's 100% guaranteed. And I think that if you sit there and that these are guaranteed and you're just going to assume that you're going to get something from them, you may be left waiting for a long time. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so don't get too confident about Jordan. Okay, let me see if I can get through here. Uh, Modern Crime and Cards. They printed how many 89 Griffey rookies there worth how much in a 10? I'm not worried about overprinting. Um, overprinting, I would say we should be concerned about overprinting because it affects the value of cards for sure. We know that. That's what happened in the junk wax era. Even though the Griffies are worth money, I mean, they're not worth as they were anticipated to be worth, right? Only the PSA 10s are worth a couple $1,000s, but definitely the printing do affect the value of the cards. We have to pay attention to that. Just like we have to pay attention to the pop counts of graded cards, we also have to pay attention to the print of raw cards. All right, all right. OG card scammer doesn't care about printing runs. He's going to buy it all. He's the exception. He's the exception for that. I would say. All right, let me try to get through. You guys are commenting a lot in here. I'll try to highlight the best comments I can, but just give me a second to kind of go through. If you guys have any questions, put them in. But I'm loving the engagement I'm seeing here. A lot of you guys are chatting with each other, which is super cool. And we got 90 people in the chat right now. This is exciting, guys. If I miss your question, just go ahead and put it back in there. I'm trying to go through this quickly. I'm super far behind on the chat, but let me see what we get through here. Beats baseball are going to get more and more expensive. If they get more and more expensive, it's because the demand for them is super high. So that is not necessarily a bad thing in terms of the overall. But if you're a sole baseball collector and you can't keep up with that, then yeah, that's going to suck. But you've got to just kind of pay attention to that and be part of that process if you want to play the game of collecting. Steven, can't print what Panini and Topps are right now. Luber has already addressed this. Yes, I think that he is smart enough to realize how that affects prices. And if he has any control over that, I would hope that they manage the printing runs so that they can, so that it gives them time to do the marketing to grow the hobby community. If they grow the community, then they can print more. But they just can't print more assuming that the community will grow organically. They're really good to market the product to the masses, to make it a cultural thing where a lot of people just collect cards the same way that people music, so like it has to become like ingrained in our culture to collect cards. And they can only do that if they put heavy emphasis in their marketing, which I think that they plan to do. B, you want to do more on-card autos and more game-worn patches. Yes, I think everybody would agree to that. 40-something. I want them to make Joe Namath cards. What's wrong with Joe Namath? Scott, you're worried about the Fanatics monopoly. I think people all worry about when a company gets too big because they think that the company probably doesn't have the best interest of the consumer in mind. But we'll have to see. I mean, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, the bigger they are, as long as they continue to improve the collecting experience, improve the product, I don't care how big they are. I don't care if they have a monopoly. If they realize that they have no competition and get complacent and their products start to suck and the collective community suffers, then yes, I would have a problem with it at that point. Frankie, we don't know when Fanatics will start printing product, but you can assume that if they acquire Topps and whenever that deal gets ratified and they get the keys to the company, that company belongs to Fanatics, right? So they start their own product. If you're talking about when they start printing their own new product with like their brand on it or whatever they plan to do, who knows when that's going to happen? But it'll probably several months at least to get those wheels in motion. Money Mike, you want them to bring the star cards back, huh? That'd be interesting. Okay, so this is interesting. So Luber wants cards at gas stations, is what you're saying, Modern Crime. So they will have brands they specifically overprint. Yes, I would agree with this. I would say that the low-end entry point brands, those are going to be mass printed. They're not going to care. They're going to overprint those like crazy. Because those are going to be what is for entry-level collectors or kids or people who don't want to spend a lot of money. And that's going to be like the gateway drug to bring people into the hobby, right? Whatever low-end brands they create or whatever they put out there. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because, I don't collect those brands myself. So that's fine for me. I think there needs to be an entry-level product where people can go to Target to any time of the day they want, buy that product and get cards of their favorite player. So I'm totally okay with that. It's just the higher end brands of cards that I want to make sure that, or that I hope that they would be very mindful of their printings for that, because those are the ones that we're going to be spending a lot of money on. So we want those to have some sustainable value. Vincent. So yeah, we were just talking about this, Vincent. Like they're gonna flood the market with the entry level stuff, which I'm okay with, but the higher end stuff, I just hope that they're very mindful about how they print that. DJ, you think the MLB would continue to print Griffey rookies? Probably. Probably. Who knows? I saw like a documentary on this, how Upper Deck got caught doing that, and is that why Upper Deck lost the baseball license? Does anybody know any history about that? I would be interested to kind of learn more about how they lost the baseball license. Rick from North entering the chat. Welcome, brother. Oh, we're over 103 people, guys. We got a big chat room here. This is awesome. Sounds like everybody wants to be part of this conversation. So if you guys have anything to say, please chime in here. Dave, okay. Fanatics is run by brilliant people with big money behind them. They may make some mistakes, but they will bring the hobby to a whole new level with time. Yeah, I 100% agree with this. These companies, these companies have to answer to shareholders, to investors. So they're going to be just like buying stuff up without a detailed plan and a way to execute that plan. Okay, these guys know what they're doing. They have like financial analysts, they have industry experts to advise them. They're going to make money. Okay, they're going to know what they're going to do with this, and they're going to have to become like the stewards of the hobby. Okay, now that they've bought up everything and they own such a huge market share, they're really going to have to protect that. That is their future investment. If they burn out the hobby within a few years, it's not going to serve them in terms of long-term investment. So they're really going to have to like take care and curate their strategy on how to roll out all these products, how to bring new people into the hobby. And I think that they do have a plan for that. They just haven't released that information to us, but it's, I think they've got it handled. I'm not worried about that at all. Okay, Frankie. So we talked about this earlier. If you're just joining us, but yeah, if they buy Panini, yeah, they're gonna have a monopoly. But I don't think that the card industry is really paid attention to or regulated in any way that would prevent them from doing that. But that would be interesting, So we'll have to kind of see what they do with that. I don't think that they're done. I don't think that this is it for Fanatics. I think that they probably have one more big play in them coming soon. If I was going to speculate, I would say that they're either going to acquire the licenses through Panini and start taking over that, or they'll buy Upper Deck or something. Because Upper Deck has hockey, guys. Remember, hockey is the fourth major sport in the country, even though we don't really care about it. Hockey is number 4. So if you got all three, why wouldn't you want number 4, right? Okay, Johnny. Yeah, I archive all my live chats. Yes, you can watch it on a playback. Okay, DJ, my thoughts on Fanatics cutting back on parallels and chase cards. I don't think they're cutting back at all. From the latest report I saw, I don't think they're cutting back on those at all. I think that they're overprinting those because that's the only way that they can get people to buy their product because of those chase cards. So I don't know. Send me a follow-up question because I don't know what you mean by them cutting back on that. I don't see why they would cut back on that at all because the chase cards are the only reason we buy all the different type of products they have out there. The products that they have out there their prices are so inflated that we aren't getting our money back from them, from the base product or the inserts that they have. So they have to put a lot of chase cards in those products to make us compelled to buy them so that we think that if we get a big hit, we'll make our money back. That's the psychology behind that. Okay. Rick from NorCal. Fanatics paid big money to acquire licenses, now acquiring Topps. Yep, going for the monopoly. Yes, I agree with that. They are a business. How do they make money? Printing money by printing unlimited cards. I don't think they're going to print unlimited cards, but they're going to print a lot of cards, guys. But I think they're going to be smart about it. I've said this several times during this live, and I think that this is going to be the ongoing theme of this discussion. But they're going to, they can't just print more cards and think that those cards are going to go out there and they're going to have unlimited demand. I think that they understand. And we talked about this because I highlighted this in Josh Lear's paper. So this is going to be an important part of this live for everybody to pay attention to if you didn't watch that video. He specifically said in his paper that the manufacturers have to be equally concerned about the secondary market value of the cards as they are for the primary retail value of the cards. That they can't just be printing out unlimited cards because they can sell them at retail for their fixed price. They have to understand that once they sell them at retail to the secondary market and they trade on the secondary market, and they have to protect the value of that secondary market, because if it goes down from overprinting, that's going to affect their primary market. So somehow they have to figure a way to solve that problem. So I think that they are aware of that. B, in hyperinflation economy, will slabs still hold or increase in value? I don't think inflation and the economy have a huge impact. I mean, if you want to look at it in a micro sense, maybe it does, but that's a little bit beyond what I'm prepared to talk about. I think that the value of all the slabs that are out there right now are going to be dependent on the supply versus demand dynamic of the hobby in relation to the size of our community. So the way that community is right now, the amount of people that are in the hobby that are buying, selling cards, we're trading them around like hot potatoes right now. Okay. And that's continue to drive the prices down because PSA is flooding the market with slabs every week, tens of thousands of slabs. So the answer to that, I believe, will be that the hobby must grow. The more people have to come in. The community, as it is right now, we have to grow 2x, 3x, 5x, 10x over the next couple of years to sustain the demand for the amount that we have. I think that's the only way to keep the slabs that are out there valuable. Otherwise, they're just going to be like, they're going to become common raw cards, basically. Okay. Hopefully I explained that correctly. Let me know if I didn't explain that correctly, let me know. I'll try to take another shot at it. Okay. DJ, will Fanatics kill the LCS? PSA is garbage, waiting now 14 months for my cards. You and me both, brother. You and me both. I think the LCS is necessary, but the role of the LCS has to change. They cannot just be a supplier of product like they have been for so many years. I'm going to make a video about this, guys, where I talk about this in depth on what I think LCS has to do to adapt and get into that next phase, that next evolution of the hobby. And what I think they have to do is they have to become like a community center for the card community. They have to host events. They have to be there to provide excellent customer service, excellent experience for people to go into the shop. Because think about it, guys, like we could buy these products online anywhere. There's nothing inside a hobby shop that is unique anymore, unless like super rare single cards for sale. So the only reason we would go into an LCS would be for the experience, to hang out, to see what they have, to talk to the people. So they have to be mindful and focus on the customer experience to get people to come into their shop. They have to have, they have to be like well designed. They can't be like a hoarder's garage with, you guys know what I'm talking about. Like some LCSs, you're just stacked with a bunch of junk. They can't be like that anymore. They have to be really nice. They have and welcoming and inviting for people to come in, and they have to host events. They have to host card shows, trade nights. They have to be an area where people can do deals in a safe, secure environment. I think that's the next evolution of the LCS and what they have to do. They cannot just be a supply, a place for people to buy cards anymore, because people can buy cards online. They don't need to leave the house. So the LCS has to adapt to that. If you guys know what Burbank Cards does, Burbank Cards is probably the best LCS in the entire country. They probably have to try to follow a model similar to that, where they focus on experience, customer service, knowledge, and a place for people to hang out, congregate, do deals, things like that. Video coming soon on that. My Prime and cards. Okay, so we are. Let me highlight this comment because I think it's funny, but I'm also going to make a comment about this. We only need a few thousand guys with hoarding issues to turn this around. Yes. So here's what I think is interesting, guys. Let me propose this to you. I don't know if this idea is too radical, but guys, luxury brands like Gucci, LV, and whatever other luxury brands, Burberry. You guys know that to manage the scarcity of their products, every year they burn their excess products that they can sell, right? So what's to stop these card companies from doing the same thing? Like, they can overprint like crazy, right? But if the cards don't sell out during the season that the cards come out, why don't they just get those cards back and burn them? Burn all that excess supply, and then that's a way they can control their prints. And I think it would increase the value of cards. I don't know. Tell me if that idea is too radical, but I think that something like that needs to happen. I think somebody who has a lot of money, if they can buy up all the junk slabs that are out there right now and just like melt them down and burn them, that would like save the value of our cards right now. Okay, let me try to get through some of these comments here. I'm way behind. Sorry, guys. If I haven't got to your comments, sorry about that. Way behind here. I was going to go for another like 10 minutes, but it's turned into another half hour here. So, but we got a lot of people in the chat. So as long as we have a lot of people in the chat, I'll stay with you guys. Frankie, let me address this, Frankie. The only way to attract new people is to make the good products affordable for all, meaning high end. Like, affordable is subjective term to use. Like, what is affordable to some people? $100, $1,000? I think that if you try to make everything affordable, then it loses its appeal to everybody. Like, like you could have like a flawless autograph, right? But if that flawless autograph is like $10, it's not gonna appeal to everybody, because it's not just the design that makes it appealing, it's the value of the cards. I talked about this a little bit in the video that I dropped today of whether you're a collector or you're an investor, right? A lot of people want everything to be affordable so that they can get the product. I don't think that's the case. I think that's oversimplifying it. I think that, and this is going to go back to Josh Luber's paper where he cited an example of this. A lot of people want all their cards to be valuable because the value of the card is what makes it very interesting. They just want to be able to get those cards. They want to be one of the lucky people to get those cards so that they can have a pride of ownership in having a super valuable card. If you make all the cards accessible by lowering the price, suddenly they lose their appeal and then nobody wants them. So I think that's a fine line that they have to figure out. What I think that you're trying to say is that people need to be able to get into the hobby. And right now they can't do it because the cards are not affordable. But if you have entry-level products, which are like base cards and things like that people can easily get into, you can let that be the gateway product for them to enter the hobby, to buy something, to get that bug, the collecting bug. Then it's just a matter of time for them to process in their mind that they can spend more money on cards. And as they process it in their mind that they're ready to spend $100, $500, $1,000, $10,000 on a card, right? As they start processing that and they become okay with that, they can level up. And I think that's a good way for the hobby to kind of run. If you make everything affordable, it's just not going to be, sustainable in terms of the collectible value of the cards. That's what I think. Maybe if you make the boxes affordable, yes, but If everybody's getting big hits from the boxes because they're affordable, they're not going to be worth anything, guys. So it's a tough question to ask, but I see what you're trying to say with that. Tell me what you guys think about that. Okay, Money Mike. That's why I stick to vintage and high end cards. I haven't opened any new products since I got into it about 4 years ago. Yeah, you can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong with high end vintage cards or high end cards. That's the space that I'm in primarily. That's where I put most of my money also. Well, B Dog, I think you're pretty much safe. The Heritage is part of the Topps brand, so you'll see that. Hopefully they won't discontinue that. I like Heritage a lot too. I like Heritage. I like Allen and Ginter. I like Topps Chrome. So all those brands are pretty cool. DJ, I'm not gonna explain the rule against perpetuities. I'd have to brush up on that, and nobody cares. And that is the most useless rule in the world if you're talking about the legal context behind that. But if you really know, send me a DM. We'll have a discussion. Okay, global sports card investor. Upper Deck is privately owned in a family trust, so I don't think that will be sold. Ooh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. A family trust owns Upper Deck, huh? Interesting. Okay, DJ, I already answered this. I do not think that they will kill the LCS. I'm not going to go into my long explanation on that, but I think the LCSs have to evolve to a next level. They can't be doing what they're doing right now. So if you want to know my explanation, just go back in this chat and you'll be able to see that. B, yes. Fanatics is not going to kill the LCSs, guys. I don't know why people think that. They've talked about the LCS as being an integral part of the community. So it's in Fanatics' best interest to make sure that the LCSs have the resources that they need to continue to operate. Okay, so I answered this Warlock in my explanation, but yes, we don't need to go into an LCS to buy anything. We have access. We can buy anything we want from our phones. So the LCSs have to evolve into like a community center for the hobby. Okay, and they have to host events. They have to provide customer service. They have to be able to answer questions and things like that for people. So they have to evolve into a different type of business, basically. Okay, let me try to get through these comments here. B Dog, so glad I went into vintage only. Guys, you cannot go wrong with vintage. Vintage is a strong play. I would recommend vintage for anybody. But it's not as exciting, I would say, as going up. Well, it is exciting because you're buying legends, but people want to buy people that they can watch on TV and stuff too, or people that are still relevant. So I think it's a good mix to have some vintage, but also some modern cards too. Or modern players, I should say, not modern cards. Vincent, you think Fanatics is getting mafia money, huh? Maybe, who knows? Frankie, Fanatics will change the game. No more middlemen, no more allocations. I would agree with that. I think that they have a plan. I don't know if it's gonna be completely different, but I think that they are gonna change some things. I think that distributors that have been enjoying the power of allocation, I think that there probably are some changes for that. So they're going to have to adapt their model somehow. Ryan Freeze, is that the 92 Jim Lee X-Men Danger Room behind you in one piece? Yes, it is, sir. But it is not the card. It is not the card. It is a poster, but from that card set, the exact same one. So I love this scene. It's my favorite card set or cards from that 92 set. I just love it. Thank you for noticing that. Dun dun dun. Let me try to answer some of these questions here. B Dog, do you think that they will make cards that will be affordable for kids more? Going to a show in the past 10 years seems like the kids who can be counted on both hands only. Um, yes, I do. I think that they do realize that kids are important to the hobby because kids are the next generation. So they're going to make like low end products for the kids. This can be whatever they come out, right? So like for example, I would say like I don't know what's the lowest end brand for Tops, right? Would it be like Tops Update, paper or something like that? They'll make products that are low end that are overprinted, so that overprinted to the point that they're worthless. Those will be entry level products for the kids. Very important, guys. If you know anything about marketing, you should know that if you market the kids, kids will bring the parents, and the parents have money, and they will buy this stuff. That's why, like in the 80s, that's why when they made those awesome 80 cartoons, GI Joe, Transformers, He-Man, Ninja Turtles, those cartoons were geared towards kids to sell toys, right? So if you follow that same kind of strategy, then the card businesses will do the same. They'll make entry level products for the kids. They will bring kids back into the hobby, and hopefully, that will bring the parents and they'll spend money. The only thing that I think was going to be very difficult is that kids these days are growing up in like a digital age where they play video games. They who knows if they collect anything that like not digital. Maybe they get kids in by using NFTs or something like that. I don't know. I'm just speculating right now, but I do think that is very important. I do think that kids are important to the hobby. They should be a focal point of these big companies, and they need to have entry level products for the kids because kids should not be buying $500 boxes of anything. Should not be holding $1,000 slab of any kind of card. It's just not what they're made for, right? So I think they do need specific products for kids. But I will say this: those products will be like a gateway. They'll be like smoking products, like trying to get the kids addicted to the hobby. That it'll be interesting to see how they manage that part. Mercer. So yeah, there are rumors that Fanatics will not put their logo on the cards. I don't think they need to. I don't even know what the Fanatics logo looks like, but I assume it's probably not that cool looking. So I don't think they need to be honest, right? Fanatics is a different type of company. They can have a subsidiary company that could be like Tops, right? Tops could be like the front man for them, and they could just use the Tops brand. They don't need to add anything else on there for sure. So, and if they don't need to print the logo on there, then who knows? Maybe that saves them money and that streams the process because they don't have to change the printing equipment. I don't know. I don't know how any of that stuff works. Just reading through these comments here, guys. Give me a second. Shiny cardboard. If you were Fanatics, you would buy Upper Deck. Yes, I've been talking about this pretty much all night. I think Upper Deck is the play to make because they have the components that you would want if you're trying to do an acquisition. Okay, imagine if you're a company, you're Fanatics, okay, and you say, okay, we need to buy a company that brings us value. You've got Panini, which has the brands, right? The current licenses. Panini has the current licenses, but Fanatics will take over that. So those licenses have a lifespan, okay, an expiration date. They have their brands that they've created, which are strong brands like Prism, flawless, optic. But those brands have only been around for 8 years. Other than that, what else does Panini have besides the other brands that maybe have longer licenses? If you look at Upper Deck has the hockey license, which is the fourth major sport, the one that they need to complete the quadfecta. I don't know how long that license brand is, but assuming that it is a long contract, that could be the key factor. Number two, Upper Deck has the legacy brands that we all love. Upper Deck owns Skybox, so they can produce metal. Metal is a huge legacy brand, and whatever other else they have, PMGs, for example. And then also Upper Deck has exclusive athletes licensed under them that have like lifetime licenses. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Tiger Woods, right? So they could acquire those GOAT names and put into their products autos for that. I think that's a major selling point. Plus their memorabilia side too. They have exclusive memorabilia deals with those guys. And I think Upper Deck is smaller. Maybe they'll be more, they'll be cheaper than what Panini would ask for. So that's my reasonings for why they should buy Upper Deck. Rick from NorCal, maybe do high-end products versus the overprinted low-end wax for kids. Yeah, I agree. Low-end stuff has to be for kids. That can be junk wax. They can overprint that as much as they want. The higher stuff, I would like to see more control over the print runs for sure. Marvel guy, you want to see Topps Chrome Marvel? Ooh, Topps Chrome Marvel, huh? Well, Marvel, does Upper Deck have exclusive license to Marvel? That's another thing, guys. Marvel is a completely crazy untapped market. I think Upper Deck has the license to that, right? Does anybody know? Let me know in the chat, because to me, that would be the biggest selling point if they could pick up the Marvel license. Edgar, what's up, brother? Thank you for joining. Ben Jason, welcome to the live stream, brother. Glad you could make it. Big Dog, can you do? Oh, I love the picture. I love the Ric Flair picture. You see this right here? Big Dog, can you do a live stream on what type of cards and lines to buy and invest, and what type of card lines to avoid? Yeah, I can make a video about that. Let me think about that for a little bit, and I'll make a video for you guys. Okay, I'm always looking for great ideas for my new informational videos that I put out on a weekly basis. So always feel free to send me your ideas, guys. Whatever you guys want to hear, I'll try to make a video of it. All right, going through the chat here. Ooh, interesting. We have another person from Australia. I get a lot of people from Australia who jump into the chat here, but UFC is so big right now in Australia. Can only imagine what the future holds. P.S. Good day. Thank you, Dano. That's interesting. I didn't know Australia is a fan of UFC. Interesting there. They could play there. Who knows? Edgar, I don't know if there's anything to stop Fanatics from doing grading, but I would just say that I just don't. Well, I mean, again, like, why would they would have to buy a grading company, right? So it's not like they're going to start their own grading company, because who would care about that? I don't think anybody would, to be honest. And for them to grade their own cards, if anything comes back less than a 10, it just shows poor quality control on their end. So I just don't see why they do that. The only thing that I could see them doing would be if they sent their best cards to PSA or some other grading company, got those be tens, okay, mint condition cards, tens, and they put like a special factory sealed sticker on it for some to make it exclusive, and then they sold that directly to us. I think would work. But other than that, I mean, I just don't see why they would get into the grading game. All right, trying to get through these comments. I'm loving the interactions here, guys. We got 115 people in the chat. This is the most we've ever had. This is awesome. Let's see. Let's see what we got going here. Cardboard Max, you agree. The hobby must grow for the prices to grow. Yes, 100%. Let's see here. Go through this. Georgetown Vintage. LCSs are likely going to die off like in the 90s. YouTube is the new community. Yes, I would agree in terms of like social media, YouTube, Instagram. This is the community now. That's how we interact. But I do think that there's still room for LCSs. Not in terms of being a place for us to buy product, but being a place for us to meet and interact. For me, let me just give you my idea. Whoever wants to take this idea and run with it, you can. But if I was going to open an LCS, which I would never do, but if I was to open one, I would make it super cool. I would make it like, I would design it where it'd be like almost like a really cool man cave where people can come in, like a bar type deal, where people can come in and they feel like the place is cool. They get to see cool designs, cool products, things like that. Hang out all day. You don't have to buy anything. It's like a coffee shop. You can hang out all day. You can talk sports. You can watch the game. You can, if you do a deal with somebody online, you can meet them there. So it's a safe environment. So you don't get robbed or anything like that. You can trade cards. If you're new to the hobby, you can go in there. You can talk to the people who are very excellent at customer service. They will educate you. They will answer your questions. Maybe the LCS holds weekly workshops on how to new people. Maybe they hold weekly workshops on how to grade cards. Maybe they host a weekly trade night or a card show. Whatever it is, they have to be like a community for the hobby. And I think that's how they last. Okay. Going into the new future. If they just want to solely rely on being a place to sell product, good luck, because we can buy anything we want from our home. We don't need to go anywhere anymore. So there's no reason for them to do that. They have to focus on providing experience, okay? Because that is what our society likes right now. Right now, we only care about convenience, meaning we will pay for somebody to deliver to us quick. That's why we have Amazon Prime and other services like that, or we pay for experiences. We will go to places where we feel like, can get a really fun experience out of it. And I think that's where the LCSs have to pivot to if they want to survive. Man, I'm trying to catch up on all these comments, but I'm just like, I'm giving you guys, my answers are too long that I just can't catch on these comments, guys. So I appreciate your patience with me. Thank you. Frankie, yes, Fanatics. I don't know how that works, to be honest, but like, yeah, I mean, for the right amount of money, they could just buy those licenses from Upper Deck. There's no reason that they couldn't. But as the company, if you're Upper Deck, those are your most valuable contracts or your IP. So I would not give those up at all if I was them. I would say, if you want these, you got to buy us. And this is the price that we want. If you paid $500 million for Topps, we want 800 million or something like that, right? So that's what I would do if I was the owner of that company. If I was the owner of one of those companies like Upper Deck, I would be like, all right, it's time to cash out. This is how much I can sell my company for. Just give me maybe a royalty in perpetuity. Give me like a position on the board where I can collect a paycheck and let me cash out. All right, let me go through these comments here. Some of you guys are writing some funny comments in here. Let me highlight some of these. Just, I'm not going to read them out, but I'll highlight them and they make me laugh. Diverse collectibles. Okay. In a hyperinflationary environment, cards will not be that important. Um, in my opinion, gold, silver, maybe crypto will be the go-to, but after the dust settles, the card will hold value. Yes, I would. You guys have to understand this. Cards are they're collectible for sure, but and they're a storage of value to an extent. But if the world is ending, people are not going to be caring about cards. They're not going to have much collectible value like gold, silver, crypto may. So in that regard, yes, I agree. But I would say that you shouldn't. Cards should be like one section of your portfolio, the same way art is for a lot of people who buy those alternative investments. Just a small section of your portfolio. Don't go 100% into it if you're looking for like alternative investments that are storage of value. Although I should take my own advice because I have a lot of tied up in cards right now, as opposed to those other things. Money Mike, you need to use your Bitcoin money to go buy a mantle on golden auctions. I think that you can do it. And I want to see you do it. B, should low tier entry level sets have chase cards? Yes, I think that all sets need to have chase cards because that's why we want to buy them. If they don't have chase cards, we'll just buy the set, when people put out the sets. So there needs to be chase cards, but I think it's healthy. I think we need to have chase cards, but we have to have the understanding that cards don't equal value necessarily. So, I don't know how they would manage that, but I do think that it's important for all sets to have chase cards. Okay, let's go through this here. Oh man, this is endless comments from you guys here. This is crazy. But I appreciate your action. This is really cool, but this is like overwhelmingly a lot to go through here. Emerald City Express, you missed a lot, brother. You missed a lot. Please watch it back on the playback because we've been here for like almost an hour and a half and I haven't even got to the bottom of the comments yet. Daniel Lee. Okay. I think that in about 10 years, this hobby will make another natural jump in interest. I think vintage and other things like Babe Ruth Mantle era and cards, these will take a hit due to lack of memory. Yes, I would agree with that to an extent. I think that every next iteration of the hobby where we get an influx of people, they will collect what they know, which is things from their childhood, or the people that they follow today. Which like for me, for example, I grew up and collected in the '90s, so I'm very nostalgic for those players like Kobe Bryant and all the players in the '90s, right? So that's what I like to focus my collection on. The next generation are going to be the people that collected from 2000 to 2010, and the next generation after that, 2010 to 2020, right? But I think that as you get into the hobby, you collect what you like, but then you also look for higher end cards that have historic value, and these are the legend cards. These are the Mickey Mantles, the Babe Ruths, the Michael Jordans, the Bill Russell, the Wilt Chamberlains, Wayne Gretzky's. Right? You will look to those cards because those cards have achieved legendary status, where they become Grail cards for a lot of people. And when you're a collector, you naturally want to collect and level up and get the best cards you can. So that will be the next natural progression. And even though those players are not necessarily relevant in today's culture, I do think that they hold that legendary GOAT status where people will go after them for the historic collectability of them. Vic Man, what do you think will happen to the current value of to the value of the current Panini and Topps cards? I think that they'll just stay where they are right now. I don't think that the value is going to change. The value of all cards is dependent on the demand for those cards, and the demand will not change for these cards until we get new people into the hobby and the hobby grows. Right now, we're kind of like just treading water in terms of our growth. There's still steady growth, but we really need the next boom of people to come in to really make these prices shoot up the way that we want them to be. Adrian, happy New Year's, brother. Thank you. Oh, happy New Year's, Canada. Appreciate it. We have people from Canada. We have people from Australia. We have people from everywhere in the country. Do we have anybody from Asia in here? If you're from Asia, let me know, or Europe, let me know. Rick from NorCal. Buy the right player cards now. MJ, Kobe, LeBron, Curry, autos. By the time Fanatics takes over, those will be 10x what they are now. Yes, I agree with that 100%. I think that when Fanatics fully puts the weight of their resources towards marketing the hobby, and they bring in all the new people that are supposedly going to support the demand for all the supply that they plan to print out, those people will go, once they get into the new stuff, they will go to the higher end stuff, which is going to be all those cards that you mentioned. So I think that that will be, whenever that happens, that will be the next boom. All right, let's go through here. So Card Capture says that Fanatics will basically contain all the soccer cards because they have all, because Topps has all the licenses for Major League Soccer, the UEFA, Bundesliga, and Formula One. So yes, man, they're getting everything. They're getting everything right now. What's the only holdout, really? The only holdouts that they are having is hockey, I would say. Hockey and UFC. Those are like the major ones. I mean, wrestling, if you want to put wrestling in there, Marvel, if you put that stuff in there. But as far as sports, they pretty much have everything. John Collins, where do I see baseball cards in 5 years? Baseball cards will be the same same as all the other cards. So it really depends on the trading card market in general. And in 5 years, I'm still very bullish on what Fanatics is doing. So I think in 5 years, maybe they'll be fully mature in their current the current life cycle of their business plan. So I would just assume that in 5 years, like the hobby will be thriving. There'll be a lot of people buying, selling, trading, and it'll be a great time to be in the hobby. That's what I predict. But who knows? Who knows what will happen in 5 years? DJ Storms, is it annoying to see card dealers buying their cards and card videos and then selling them for 5 times the amount on Whatnot? I don't know. I don't really pay attention, so I don't really link a video to Whatnot. But I'll tell you right now, I just got approved for Whatnot, guys. I did get approved to be a seller, and I was reading the terms of their contract, and I think I have to be a consistent seller on a weekly basis or something like that, something crazy. So you might be seeing me on that a lot in the coming weeks. I might be one of those guys. So sorry. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I think Whatnot's an auction site, right? So you don't really control the price. It goes for whatever it goes for. I think that would just be, I think if anything, that's a fun way to document the journey of the card, to kind of go back, check out the provenance of the card, if you want to say. But I'm not going to hate on anybody for making money that way, because it might be me. So don't hate on me. Okay, Jay? All right. Going through this. Going through these comments here. Oh, my battery's running low too, guys. So I'm probably going to wrap this. I've got 10% on my battery left here. I'll probably wrap this up. Let me just try to get to the bottom here. I really want to get to the bottom of the comments, make sure I get everybody's comments here. But I'll try to wrap this up about 5 to 10 minutes. We'll see. If I end up skipping your comment, I'm sorry. Just if it's really important to you, put it back in the chat and I'll try to get to it before I jump off. Because I do want to watch what Ken Golden has to say on his live when he talks about this. So everybody should jump onto that one next. Beer and cardboards. I mean, no, I don't think they're going to give up LeBron James' contract. I think that's probably one of the most valuable contracts they have. I think if they wanted to sell, they have to sell the whole company. That's what I would do. A lot of talk about crypto here in this chats here. You guys are talking about crypto a lot here. I think that's mainly due to Money Mike, though. Mervin, Upper Deck has LeBron, Jordan, Tiger Woods. They've got like some pretty heavy hitters. Bulls, Bull. Will Fanatics put more effort putting women's soccer and hoops cards? Who knows? I mean, I think that there is a niche market for that, and I think that's a way to get a lot of female collectors into the game. So I would hope that they would do that. You know, I like women's soccer. I like watching that, so I would be interested in collecting some of those cards. Not a lot, but you know, of the major players, yeah, for sure. Beer and cardboard. Who has Mickey Mouse rights? I don't know. I don't know who has his rights. That's a good question. No, I've seen Mickey Mantle cards. Panini has Mickey Mantle cards. So maybe that's part of their baseball rights. Play, you know, who knows? B-Dog, thank you for subscribing. Appreciate it. I'm pretty sure everybody here subscribes, but if you guys don't, please subscribe. We're trying to get up the counts. I'm trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. So if you guys can, please help, share these videos, post them on Instagram, do whatever you guys can to help grow the Curator Army. I would really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. And I appreciate all you guys' support and all you guys who hang out with me on a weekly basis and watch my videos. Thank you so much. Feed the Gods. What's up, Aaron? Welcome to the live. Sorry, I am going to be closing this up pretty soon, but I appreciate you stopping by. Wow, this chat here is just endless, guys. There's no way I'm going to get through this here by the time my battery runs out. But this is awesome. This is awesome to see this many comments here. Aaron, thoughts on graded cards being a main price for casinos like games, poker slabs, etc. be a main price? What do you mean by that? I don't know. Send me a follow-up question. Let me try to answer that for you. I'm not sure what you mean by that. PJ, let Panini die. Ooh, dang. Okay. Strong words there. Kevin is from Taiwan. We got one guy from Asia in here. That's awesome. Diverse collectibles from Virginia. All right, guys. You guys are sounding off. Where are you guys from? That's cool. Andy Neo from Singapore. He just messaged me on Instagram. Had a nice conversation with him. That was cool. Okay. I'm trying to go through these as quick as I can. Oh my gosh. San Clemente. Adams from San Clemente. Adam, oh man, I always get this question here about this painting. It's just some random oil painting that I found at a flea market. I got it for like $40. It's a real oil painting. It's not a print, hand carved wood, but basically it's two ships in the doing battle with each other, two pirate ships. I like to say. I like to make a story about this, so maybe I'll make a story about this and I'll tell you guys about it. But it's a cool picture. Everybody's always asking me about it, so I appreciate you guys looking at that. White Plains, New York. B Dog is from White Plains, New York. Okay, feed the gods. So you're saying like you want the cash prize for like tournaments to be high end cards? I could totally see that happening because sometimes they give away like cars and motorcycles and stuff, right? So I could totally see that happening. Like if they had a super rare card, I think that would be super interesting. That probably something like Fanatics would organize to generate marketing for their company for the hobby, right? To give them like a super high card to offer as a prize. So I think that's a great idea. Okay, I think I got all the questions, guys. Go ahead and end this now. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. This was like an impromptu live just because I wanted to get on here. I was so excited about the news. I wanted to talk to you guys about it. Very awesome discussion that we had tonight. A lot of engagement with you guys. So that is super cool. Thank you so much. If you have any other questions, I'll do the next live. I'm going to be live with Merlin tomorrow between two slabs, our weekly show where we have a discussion. So we'll continue this chat, and then I'll do a live on Friday night for you guys too. Okay. Watch the videos that I dropped today. If you can help me out, please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Watch the video that I'll put out probably Wednesday. Continue to support my channel, all that stuff. Thank you guys so much. Go watch Ken Golden's live. Mention that I sent you guys there so that he knows who I am. And have a good night, everybody. Take care.